Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Stormybman Live for this Friday, August 7th, 2026. We're cooking in the early afternoon on a Friday for a change. And I just thought I'd come out here and talk about the state of boxing for August 7th, 2026. Just a little boxing talk. You know, I'm at a point now where I really don't care like I once did. It doesn't matter to me anymore. But I'll do it as I feel, and you'll receive it as you will. Yeah, I still got my bars. Yeah. But it is what it is. Yeah. I'm hoping everybody that's good out there, you know, to decide to check in and see what the sensei is talking about. It's cool. Got a couple people out there on Rumble. And we're also doing the thing on YT. But I'm not certain how that's looking on YT. You know, there's some mixed up signals from what I understand as I try to dual the stream. That's what took me a couple minutes to get it going, because with Rumble, everything is good to go. With YT, everything is kind of up in the air. So I'm acknowledging that. And that is what it is. Yeah. So for those of you who are out there in the Rumble chat, I appreciate your appearance. You know, those who are on the Rumble side, I don't know what's happening there. I'm trying to see. I even posted it to my community page, and I'm not sure if we are over there. I don't know. I'm trying to look. Let's see here. Is there anybody who can go over to the YouTube side and just write something in the chat before we begin to cook. There have been some upgrades to my streaming software, so I'm kind of interested in seeing what the changes are. You guys are out there. I see EJ is out there. Will Sinclair, 4-ounce sniper. Can somebody write in there so I can see what's updating or whatever? Because your greetings is all that I get at the moment. There he is. Yeah. Yeah, we back. We back. Yep. One of the things that's getting a lot of conversation, whether we like it or not, happens to be, let's see here, this turmoil behind DHP, Devin Haney, and SHITTY, Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, Jamal Davis, what's good with you? What's good with you? Come on in. Smash that like button on your way in. You know, a lot of people are dismissive of the circumstances behind this whole thing that went down between these two. Not in the ring, but the negotiation process and all of that. And it's real shady. And the nitwits over there at Ring Magazine, when they sit up and they host their little shows and they give their little takes on these things. And that dude Kellerman, who likes to say things like, I hate to play devil's advocate. You are the devil. And we don't advocate for you because what you bring is confusion, you bring bias, and you bring an angled narrative that someone somewhere out there has put you on the course to speak for boxing. You don't. And just because of the access that you may have had through your on-air career, it doesn't make you an expert. It doesn't make you one that's a voice for the sport. Because even time and time again, when you sat down in front of others who actually participate in the sport, fight, currently and former, you speak as if you know better than some of them who actually have taken the shots. Huh? And there is something about, ethnic that makes people kowtow to you. Well, I'm here to be a person to dispel that and tell them that they should not. Because you are a culture vulture. You see, don't forget, we got video of you out there trying to be the next Vanilla Ice, huh? But I guess it melted, huh? Because it didn't pan out for you. So now you want to sit back and talk with authority about people who get in there and risk their lives, life in them. And you talk to the world like you know better. You're a disgrace. Yeah. Jamal Davis says, I'm glad Keishane and Shakur exposed themselves. Is so bad. Even the mainstream media is putting it out there because it's clear as day that those clowns never wanted smoke with Devin. Well, see, the real truth of that is, Jamal Davis is, they don't want smoke in the sport of boxing. That's the thing. They don't want smoke in the sport of boxing. Yeah, because if they did, they'd be more willing to step in there with their contemporaries. See, you're witnessing a new generation of people who have painted themselves into a corner, and they rather speak on social media about their exploits, their potentials, and all going through the hypothetical without the actual. But boxing is and has always been a what have you done for me sport. What have you done for me lately? And for as long as they stay sidetracked on the sidelines, talking and giving interviews and all of that, in the meantime, other fighters are trying to make fights and give their opportunities, receive opportunities, take risks. All of that comes at a certain type of a cost. You got to put it on the line. These guys are not doing that. They're not. So, you're seeing what you're seeing. They painted themselves into a corner. Now the thing is, will their supporters, because they have some, stand up and push back and be like, hey man, it's time for you to do something? Or will they continue to align themselves in a regard that says, hey man, it ain't like that, you know, you don't understand, and blah blah this and blah blah that? Later for that foolishness, man. They, you know, it's time now. It's time. Because the sport will pass you by. And rightfully so. One of the things about the sport of boxing, I liken it to the NFL. And you got that guy Shady, on ring, talking with Kellerman, right? Okay. The NFL has, I stopped watching the NFL like 12 years ago. But you have a team of 45 players, right? And then there are, on offense and on defense, you have 11 men with key positions, tackles, linemen, corners, receivers, backs, offensive and defensive, tight ends, you know. Every year there's a draft. And typically players will sign like a rookie signing bonus or 2 or 3 year contract or something. They may have changed over the years when I haven't watched about the contracts, but every year new players are coming out of college every year. The turnover could be immense in the NFL. And then they have leagues where they can send players when they don't make the active rosters and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm saying this for an important reason, because in boxing, it happens similar, but you don't pay much attention to it. You have the certain fighters that the sanctioning bodies like to get behind and support. They will protect these guys. They will ensure that they have a place in the sport. Even if they don't belong, they make certain that they have a spot that could be freed up by a more engaging fighter and more warranted, desired fighter, accomplished and potential fighter. But they don't do it that way. Representation is very important. There has to be a certain amount of Mexican fighters in the sport throughout the divisions with representation. There has to be a certain amount of, and they allow for this, the Cuban representation. You have the Dominicans. Yeah. You even have the Puerto Rican fighters. The Irish. The Welsh. And other Eastern European fighters. Asian fighters are coming on more now than ever before. And they will allow a space for a couple of them to get world recognition. But whether they be very good or not, you have a representation like Naoya Inoue, and then you have guys like the young man that he recently fought that they thought would be someone that could tie the knot of having two prominent fighters over there. But it turned out that Inoue was just the single guy that's representing presently. But he's aging. And at the lower weights, when you get into your early 30s, that's when things begin to go downhill. Notice I haven't said anything about the African fighters. I haven't said anything about the Jamaican fighters. I haven't said anything about the black fighters that come from other parts of the world. Europe, France, Australia, the UK. And I haven't said anything about those that come from America. Because after all those that I mentioned initially, the combined unit of the black fighters, the melanated guys, there's like a little hat, which their names are thrown in, and a few are picked out at a time. No matter how good they are, that representation just isn't there. And you can almost throw the Cuban fighters in there because for some reason, there is something in the sport of boxing where they do not want the Cuban representation at the top with the sanctioning bodies. Research it for yourself. There's some sort of discrimination going on with the Cuban fighters. I don't know if that's political based. That's beyond my pay grade, but it exists. Salute to the brother EJ out there with the Rumble Rant. He says it's a damn shame for a lot of people. Favorite boxing is messing up the sport of boxing instead of becoming great and legendary. Yeah. It's unfortunate. I'm trying to get there's something about the YouTube side where I can't get the chat to be active. I don't know what that's all about. There have been some changes. Oh, okay. It's telling me the live chat is unavailable. Okay, that's something in the settings. I can see the views. Anyway, this representation that I spoke of, what you're seeing with it, there are only so many spots that the fighters are allowed to be in, positions that they're allowed to represent. Okay, 4-ounce Sniper says, I see your premiere video is ongoing, but no live on YouTube, Stormy. Okay, I appreciate you letting me know that. Because on my playback, I'm seeing it, and it's going. That's really interesting. Oh. I just made an adjustment. Let me know if you can see that now, 4-ounce Sniper. I just made an adjustment. Okay. Yeah, see, I see that my streaming software OBS has made some changes. So my configurations are different. And because I haven't been going live in a while, you know, I have been primarily doing Rumble. There's some things that are a little bit different. And that's okay. Learning some new stuff. Okay, yeah, we good now. Yeah. So, can you comment over there? Can you comment now? Let me see if you can comment. Pardon me while I take this quick call from Scrapbook. Yeah, that was the brother Scrapbook. He didn't know I was live. Okay. Okay, you got the cash out there, Crown Sniper. I appreciate you, brother. Okay, he said, hold on. We got a couple of cash outs. And you know, you guys, you do have to let me know when you leave a cash out because there's no message chime or whatever. So I have to go directly to cash out when you do that. I got you there before, Sniper. Appreciate you and your donation, my brother. Thank you so much. And then we got the OG, Mr. Mott, out there with the cash out donation. And the OG, Mr. Mott, came in real heavy in my cash out. I appreciate that, OG. You know what, man? That kind of stuff like that, man, it hits me heavy. So thank you so much, OG, Mr. Mott. You know, I've been getting on with Mr. Mott because he told me he was gonna call me a couple times, and I was waiting on his call, and I didn't hear from him. So I kind of told him, you know, hey, I'm still waiting. And brother hit me up. Thank you so much, Mr. Mott. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Okay, Sniper, you said you back on the road. Okay, I got you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can hear that too, Will Sinclair. That's YT doing that to me because, you know, when I come straight through on Rumble, it's smooth. It's one of the reasons why I had stopped doing some of my projections from YT. And I had left it off of there for a while, but I see it's still doing it. Yeah, these people, man. It'll clear up, but it's in and out. It's intermittent. you know, Will Sinclair. It's intermittent, so just bear with me on that. I'll take pauses in between my speaking, which will give it a chance to, See, like there it goes. It's smoothed out right away, right there. See there? That's what they do, man. All of that kind of stuff is being done to certain content creators so that they will have difficulty and that they pull back. My reasons for pulling back are nothing along the lines of what the difficulties that they've shot our way, but, I'm just putting a message out there because I'm not the only one that they do this to. Yeah. So, but for my brother Scrapbook who might be in the chat now, yeah, my subject is the state of boxing, August 7th, 2026. And I was talking about the representation in the sport, the various ethnicities across the sport, and how the black fighter has been lumped into a hat with only a few names that they pull out, and they pick and choose who they want to say should be at the top of the heap. Like they've listed Shakur Stevenson as, a top pound for pound fighter with his victory over Teofimo Lopez. Who in the hell is Teofimo to boost someone's career like that? Now, had he faced Devin Haney and defeated Devin Haney, I could see that type of a boost to his ratings and rankings, but not off of Teofimo, a guy who was resisting fighting his contemporaries, but painted himself into a corner because he hadn't made the type of money that some of the other fighters were making. Am I right? Didn't he cry just a little over a year ago he hadn't even made $1 million? And he received several gift decisions in his career. So what is that? We're looking at a person who hasn't got it out the mud. Now, there was a point when he looked promising. Teofimo did in his career. And then that whole thing that went down with Vasyl Lomachenko, we don't know to this day what that was really about. Lomachenko gave away the first 7 rounds of that fight by hardly throwing any punches at all. If he was injured, which some people speculated, he's kind of benefited off of a story regarding that. We don't know what that was about. But the second half of that fight, he came on, but he was down too many rounds and lost a close decision. But the George Kambosos performance, where Teofimo found himself on the canvas early, Kambosos taking the fight to him. He even dropped Kambosos late to narrow or close the distance on the cards, but rightfully, Kambosos Jr. was awarded the decision. One that several others could have gotten over him. The Japanese fighter, what was his name? Nakatani? Was that Junto? No, Junto is a different one. But there was Nakatila? No, that was the guy African that fought Shakur. But there was a Japanese fighter that faced Teal. And then, of course, Sandor Martin, where he was questioning, do I still got it? Really? So, he's pound for pound because he defeated that guy? He could have gained pound for pound for fighting his lover, Keyshawn Davis. That could have elevated his status. Shakur, I'm speaking on. But definitely Haney. The difference between Devin Haney and the merits of his accomplishments and Shakur's is that Shakur has fought for vacant titles, and he's fought the guys who were not necessarily the best at the weight class to receive his multi-division honorary acknowledgments. Devin has faced the best man each time. Something totally different. You see, we watched Canelo do the same thing. Canelo was going all through these divisions, acquiring titles from guys who were not the best in the weight. And they tried to pair him on level with Henry Armstrong. How insulting. When Armstrong was doing that, winning titles and defending position of pound for pound through several weight divisions at the same time, there was one title per weight class. Not four. One. So let's just say it like this. In one division, you got Roberto Duran at lightweight. At welterweight, you got Sugar Ray Leonard. At middleweight, you got Marvin Hagler. At light heavyweight, you got Michael Spinks. At heavyweight, you got Larry Holmes. You see what I'm saying? Those are the best. There's no WBO, IBF, WBA, just one. One champion. How would Canelo have fared if he had to only face the likes of, he fought Mayweather, he lost to him. Then when he wanted to go up, he would have had to face either Golovkin or the Charlo, one of the Maul Charlo, the bigger of the guys. He was at middleweight. Golovkin never dreamed of fighting him. At light heavyweight, he took on Sergey, but you also had Artur Beterbiev, right? So what are we talking about here? The state of boxing today? It is made where a lot of guys can bring home a nice bag of money with little to no jeopardy, especially if they've got the right promoter and representative in the sport. It's like earlier today, Ring Magazine is reporting Alexander Usyk is saying if Wilder's people want it, he's willing to give him a fight. For what? You gave up your belts. Why should Wilder be interested in you? Wilder wanted to fight you when you were the best heavyweight in the world. But when we saw Van Damme whoop your ass, we realized you're not the best heavyweight in the world. So oops, there goes that notion. But see, giving your belts up in the aftermath of a stolen victory from Van Damme, they should have given him the belts. You see the foolishness in boxing? Why should Wilder want to face him now? I can understand, fighting all the guys from my era. But why didn't you give the man a title shot? There is a serious railing against giving Deontay Wilder another title shot. But they're under the delusion that Anthony Joshua can once again win titles and become undisputed. The man was on the canvas 30 seconds into his fight against the Pringles guy. What are we doing here? But see, you guys will sit back and just allow this foolishness to take place and won't say anything. He could have given Wilder a title shot instead of Pringle. Not Pringle, the Van Damme guy. I'm talking about Usyk. And if he would have lost to Wilder, or if it was a real close fight or whatever, rematched him like he did with Fury and AJ. He gave those two top guys of his era 2 fights. Where's the love for Deontay Wilder's bank account? How many times have we seen this stuff happen, man? They won't even put AJ in the ring with Wilder now, and they are calling Wilder washed up. If AJ ain't washed up, I don't know what washed up is. Because his last outing, he was rolling like he was on the tumble dry light cycle, huh? Straight foolishness, man. This is what they do. This is what they do. Okay, we got my brother Joe Townsend. I'm going back now over to YT to see who's in the chat now that the chat was opened up. My brother Joe Townsend is out there. Appreciate you, bro. Reminding me about that choppiness. Mr. Mott saying that he owed me that. I appreciate that. My brother Scrapbook is out there. Editorial Banner is out there. Scrap says Lopez claimed that black fighters were getting special privileges. Absolutely, man. Where the hell? And see, there's so much to be said. And I, haven't even touched on everything, because when you say a certain amount of things, Scrap and chat, you start to get a little hot under the collar, huh? So there were some things that Lopez has done and said that I don't feel good about at all, which is why you don't hear me talk about him too much. Editorial Banner says, I like the content on the heavyweights of the 90s. Oh, that's a 4-part series. By the way, Scrapbook, check that out on the YT channel or on the Rumble channel. The introductory video that I'm going to be talking about the heavyweight tournament of the early 90s between Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, and Razor Ruddock. It's a 4-part series. I did an intro video for it today and 3 more to follow, talking about those guys and what they meant for the division in the absence of Mike Tyson. and I didn't exploit Mike Tyson's circumstances as for why he wasn't around, because there are some people who would love to do that. And even though I don't care for Mike Tyson or whatever, I'm not here to tear that man down. We all know what he's gone through. But with respect is how I acknowledged his circumstances where he was taken away from the sport for a duration. Yeah. Appreciate that, Denetric Banner. He said, Deacon Dollars is out there. What's good with you? It's been a minute. Yeah. Growing with soul, I see you. Cheers to you. So yeah, man, I'm out here doing my part. Still, even though I've removed myself from the airwaves, you know, but still, I can bring the thunder, huh? Yeah, I can bring it. In the meantime, you got these guys out here looking for sensationalism and waiting for something really to happen so they'll have something to talk about. I could do 5-6 videos a day if I had the time or interest, but I don't. And that'll only give these other dudes opportunity to look at stuff and have content to steal and talk about. And Scrap is out there in the chat on YouTube. He knows I can create a subject off the top of my head within seconds. Scrap, tell them how I used to brainstorm those subjects for the Three Wise Men of Boxing shows. One day you, Kurt, and I was on planning for future shows. What did I about 18 shows that I come up with? Wasn't that right, Scrap? In one sit down phone call where we used to plan our shows for the next few weeks or whatever, I come up with about 18 shows. Drew Titan will tell you guys the same thing. We be sitting up planning our shows for nerds. Boom, 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 boom. Y'all see that poster behind me, Tyson versus Holyfield? Finally. That was from their first fight, 1996. The world thought Evander Holyfield was finished, washed up like Joshua. But he was not. Tyson looked washed up. And I just tell you, he got his head handed to him on that night. Del Rib, what's good? Mr. Big Play Brave, what's good with you? Yeah, only thing, Jamal, is that's not Fury, that's Hellenius. Let's see here. I'm gonna open up the call-in lines for you guys. Anybody want to call in and talk about this boxing? Feel free. The number is on the screen. We'll see. Let's talk some boxing. Really. See Deontay knocking caps off and twisting them back. Line. Let's see. How can he become an undisputed champ 3 times over and he don't even want to face Wilder? There's guys out there that's a bigger threat than Wilder now. And he think he gonna become undisputed? Man, you better wake up and smell reality. Okay, we got another cash out from the brother Will Sinclair. Okay. Brother Will, thank you so much, man, for your donation. I'm checking the cash apps. This is check this out. Will Sinclair, my brother. I see your message that come with your cash app. I ain't gonna repeat the message on the air because then that's gonna make people feel a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? But let me tell you something, Will. I've heard that a lot. so much to the degree that it's on my end is like, you know, been troublesome. Let me just put it like that, huh? But I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much, man, for your cash out, Will Sinclair. Thank you so much. But yeah, I've heard that a lot, man. I may have missed the calling. Well, not really, because I'm doing this. But hey, you know. Yep. But I think all of you guys, he said he got jealous. You ain't have to, man. See, I'm not out here trying to, you know, cause problems. But there's people out there that do, you know. And it's funny because being able to speak publicly is not something that is easy, you know. Even when I first started doing lives and videos, I was kind of stumbling over myself and everything. And then I found a little bit of a niche for myself, and you know, took things from there. But yeah. But that's funny, man. That's funny. I've heard that so much. Yeah. Nice Guy Bray says, from a boxing standpoint, why did people think Holyfield couldn't beat Tyson? Holyfield was very skilled. That was because everyone at the time was enamored with Mike Tyson's power, and they marveled at his intimidating presence, because most of the guys Tyson faced during his heyday, they were intimidated by him before they even got in the ring with him. Evander Holyfield never operated from a point of being intimidated. In fact, he learned early in his life and career in boxing that, you know, intimidation is something that works against you, but it doesn't really work for the other guy. It works against you because you are allowing yourself to have something that shouldn't be there. Remember, Holyfield, who's definitely a man of God, right, spoke about not being a man of fear. Huh? So if a person of God entrusts in God's word and says, fear not, that is where you become a conqueror. Because someone who is banking on you being intimidated or afraid, you take all of their weapons away from them right then and there. Now they have to contend with you. And guess what? That becomes scary to them. Flip it. Jamal Davis says, well, Tyson had that aura. Most people thought Tyson would win. If you were around back then, you know how intimidating he was. No, listen. There was something else that went along with that. Outside of Larry Holmes, most of the heavyweights of the mid to late 80s were underachievers. These guys were out of shape. Some of them were abusing substances. Some of them were, they were hot and cold. Some days they could show up and look like the top of the world, and other times they scraped the bottom of the barrel. And Tyson came along at a time when his abilities were able to thrive under those circumstances. Think about it, like for the guys who were the most resolute, they gave him trouble. When you think about guys like Jose Revolta, Tony Tucker, Mitch Blood Green, James Quick Tillis, Bone Crusher Smith, those were the guys that took him the distance. They had a lot of things that kept them from being the best in the world, all of those guys. But they had enough to deal with a guy like Tyson. Just imagine if they didn't have the slights that they had in their individual careers, because all of those that I just mentioned, I think I mentioned 5 guys, all of them had problems. Not all of them had these problems, but some of them dealt with these problems I'm going to mention. The substance abuse problems, the being out of shape and not dedicating themselves to their careers, having outside of the ring personal life issues, not trained well, and just overall psychologically, mentally, not there where they needed to be at times. And that gave a playground to Mike Tyson. Yeah. Tyson would have had trouble with Holyfield if he had fought him when he first moved up to the heavyweight division and became his #1 contender. He would have had trouble with that man because that man had certain types of convictions. Remember, he went in his 12th pro fight 15 rounds with Dwight Muhammad Qawi, who was cleaning up the cruiserweight divisions with fighters and had fought the best like Michael Spinks and, Matthew Saad Muhammad and all of those guys. Dwight Qawi was something else, man, and was little like Mike Tyson, a little guy. First fight went 15 rounds. That was one of the last 15 rounders. They fought a rematch, and Holyfield took him out in 4 rounds. 4 rounds. He knocked Qawi out in 4 rounds. See? And that's when Holyfield had that hand speed, bro. Tyson was noted for his hand speed at heavyweight, but Holyfield, early in his career, man, he had some hand speed and he threw some combinations. Holyfield's punches was like bing, 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 bing. Just like that. As he got to fighting the bigger guys like the Foremans and the Bows and the Lennoxes, big men, he would be loading up on his shots because he wanted to get more in on those guys. So he wasn't in that rhythm like he was. Go back and watch his fight with Buster Douglas. He was so fast against Buster Douglas, who had fast hands himself. To be a 6'5" heavyweight, 240 pounds, a lot of the similar dimensions of Riddick Bowe. But Holyfield, and he had a much better jab than Riddick Bowe, but Holyfield never let Buster get into the rhythm of the fight. He jumped on him from start, but not trying to knock him out, but boxing him at a fast, high-rated pace that Buster wasn't planning on. And then caught him with that counter shot and knocked him out. He was supposed to box Riddick Bowe the same way the first fight that they had. But because Riddick Bowe had been a sparring partner to him, he was very familiar. He showed a sense of disrespect and didn't respect the youthful Bowe's abilities, and it turned into a war in which it wasn't to his benefit because he's fighting a much bigger, younger dude. And he thought that Bowe's heart wasn't there, but Bowe turned out to have more heart than Evander initially thought, because he said when he used to spar with him and train, Bowe would only go a certain amount of rounds and then stop. So he thought that would carry over into the fight, but it was a misjudgment. Jamal Davis says it's easy to say Holyfield would win today, but back then, hell no, most people Evander, especially when he had health problems. Well, Jamal Davis, you didn't know me back then, but I had Evander Holyfield back then. And in fact, you know, my family, my guys at the gym that I used to work with back in that time and everything, that I had over to my house for the fight between Tyson and Holyfield, they all knew how I felt about Evander over Mike Tyson, even back then. So you can't say people knew back then. No, I knew that Evander was going to handle Mike long ago. Just like there are some other people in smaller circles in the sport that felt the same. It's one of the reasons why Don King didn't allow that fight to happen right away, because even Don recognized some issues, not issues, but he recognized some circumstances that were there that made Holyfield a lot different man than Tyson. Nice Guy Bray says, I was young back then. I just remember my uncle telling me about the rumors in the pre-Olympic boxing camps, and they say Holyfield was giving Tyson a problem. Holyfield gave a lot of people problems, bro. He was definitely a man that, you know, he carved out a nice space in boxing history for himself. Jamal Davis says, oh yeah, I definitely respect Holyfield today. He fought everybody, but back then I was a kid and I grew up watching Tyson, and he was something different at the time. Yeah, but you didn't have anyone like the sensei to tell you about people like Tyson, because if you had me around, then I would have pointed out certain things about Tyson. You would have said, oh, okay, and then you would have been brought up on a different mindset and maybe not even buy so much into some of these guys of today, because you got a lot of Tysons out there today, a lot of them. Says, yeah, I remember some older guys like my grandfather saying Evander could beat Tyson. However old your grandfather was at that time, he probably has seen some things in life, and he was looking at the sport a different way than what you guys would see. Yeah. Evander's health problems are a question mark over his career. Personally, I believe that it has something to do with some of the things that he was taking to keep himself big, to be a heavyweight. Because one of the things that he did was learn from Lee Haney and that other guy, Chaz, I can never remember Chaz's last name, who were bodybuilders who helped Evander put on the type of muscle to compete at heavyweight that wouldn't restrict him by being too bulky. And I believe that eventually caught up to him. However, there were some roads and corners that he cut as he got older. Evander stopped wanting to run like he's supposed to get that road work in and everything. And that makes all the difference in the world in your conditioning. And then he was having some outside the ring issues with his personal life. So, you know, it catches up. It all catches up. Yep. Tyson himself has admitted over time that he should not have ever gotten rid of Kevin Rooney, because Kevin Rooney spoke Cus D'Amato's language in his ear as a trainer and coach. And when he departed from Rooney, a lot of his disciplines departed as well. They were eroding along the way, but it went downhill very quickly for him after that. You know, I would pose this question. I've had the call-in line open for a while. I guess you guys don't want to call and talk to Stormy, but that's okay too. I'll take it down. But I would like to pose this question to you guys in the chat. What do you think what do you think was the thing that really worked in as a great benefit for Mike Tyson? What do you think? What was it? Tay, what's going on, little sis? Good to see you out there. Salute to you. 225 Boxing. What's good? Karma Serene over there on YouTube. B-Mac on YouTube. What's good? Okay, we got 267 on the line. Who's calling? What's on your mind? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Stormybman? This is B-Mac.
B-Mac, what's happening, bro?
Long time no hear from, man.
Yes, sir.
I hear you talking about Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's an idol for a lot of people.
I was shocked when he got knocked out by Buster Douglas. I was shocked. I remember my cousin called me. I didn't see the fight when it was live, but I remember my cousin calling me up, and Mike Tyson got knocked out. And it was like a death in the family. It was like shocking. It just spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
Turned on TV everywhere. Everywhere.
Listen.
Yeah. But Tyson, I heard you talk about Rooney was the best thing for him, and I think so too. And talking to my trainer that trains me now just to stay in shape, he was actually in action. He was in Lennox Lewis camp. And he was up there near Tyson too. He said Tyson was knocking out everybody, and he was scared to death to go in there and spar Tyson. But
yeah.
He said Tyson didn't want to do the work with Rooney. Rooney pushes him.
Well, yeah, you remember, what was he, 21 and a multimillionaire?
Yeah. He said it up Catskills Mountain.
If you were 21 years of age and suddenly was a multimillionaire, could do pretty much what you want to do, have your way, have the woman of your desires and all of those kind of things, the toys at your disposal, at your fingertips, who could tell you anything?
A lot of people can't handle success. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, even Big B Mac will probably fold, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know my father would. My father was a big kid, man. Yeah, he would have fooled. A lot of people would have fell to that. He said, the guy close to that said Tyson would walk around in camp in underwear with no shirt on, flip-flops, carrying a big, huge boom box over his shoulder, walking down the street.
Well, again, those kind of things, it just speaks to, you might have something going on physically, right?
Uh-huh.
But remember, the body responds to the mind.
Yeah.
It's not in reverse. So, how much did he have going on upstairs to be in the state that he behaved like what you're speaking on?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah,
see, what I just said to you, a lot of people, it goes over their head on an everyday basis. That's why you have some people out there still finding themselves on the wrong side of the law, and that may be behind bars tonight or in a graveyard. Because again, it's not about that physical thing, brother. It's about the psychological thing upstairs. What's going on upstairs?
Yeah.
Now, when Mike was a younger kid, teenager, that Cuss was training and everything, he was like a sponge. He could absorb everything that Cuss was actually telling him and sharing him, and he had the athleticism to execute, the physicality to execute what Cuss was telling him. So he was a much stronger young man than Floyd Patterson was. Remember, Floyd Patterson was the youngest heavyweight champion in history before
Oh,
Mike
wow.
Tyson, trained by Cus D'Amato. But he was a smaller heavyweight. He was like a light heavyweight competing at heavyweight. You know, Floyd he had a big left hook, and he could box a little bit, but he used the peekaboo style that Cus had brought him through. But he couldn't take the biggest punches from the solid heavyweights. So Mike had something that Floyd didn't have as far as his physicality. And you could see it executed. But Mike also had a weaker mentality than Floyd Patterson had. And then Floyd had a weak mentality. When he lost his first fight, he left the arena with a disguise on. When he left the arena that night and he lost the fight, he had like a fake nose and a mustache on, those glasses, that they used to wear and stuff. Floyd Patterson left the arena like that.
More like a clown, huh?
Yeah, he was a goofball. Dude, the world saw you get your butt knocked out. And you think you're going to exit the back door with a disguise on and nobody know who you are, and you wearing that little Pee Wee Herman hairstyle? I never seen another black man wear his hair cut like Pee Wee Herman, with that little flip at the top in the middle. Floyd.
Yeah, that was a style in the 80s for a slight moment.
The Gumby look, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, the Gumby, and then they had the Gumby go to the front. It was only a style for a couple months, though.
And he was champion for a couple of months, too.
Remember the ball players, Sean Kemp used to have that, and then when he got a regular haircut, he didn't look right.
Don't get me started, boy. I'll be roasting him. Anyway.
but he lost to what's his name? The tough guy. What was his name? That custom model kind of signature Mike Tyson tried to signature.
What'd you say?
Who did Patterson lose to? His first loss.
Who, Tyson?
No, Patterson. Floyd Patterson.
Oh, what was it? Ingmar Johansson, I think.
Oh, that's who it was? Oh, I thought it was the other guy. I thought it was the...
Sonny Liston?
Sonny Liston. That's what I thought it was.
No, he lost to Sonny Liston. He lost the heavyweight title to Sonny Liston, but he lost to Johansson because they were fighting and he got knocked down several times and he was all, walking like he was out on his feet and didn't know he was out on his feet, and he was walking back to his corner, but the fight had resumed. And old boy just ran over and started punching on him again and knocked him out. It was like, but he left the arena in a disguise.
Oh, wow. He was embarrassed. And he made himself more embarrassed.
Out of there looking like Secret Squirrel with a long yellow trench coat on and a top hat. They'll never know it's me.
He's a character, man.
Hey, Floyd, where you going, man? It ain't raining outside.
Then when Floyd fought Ali, he's making fun of Ali, and he embarrassed himself even more.
Yup, Ali just punished him. He's like, I don't want to mess with your trainer. That's what he talked about, Cus D'Amato. But from now on, you are known as the Rabbit. That's what Ali called Floyd Patterson, the Rabbit. Because he hopped around, in that peekaboo style.
What did Ali think of Cus D'Amato?
They were best friends. They were. Cus loved Ali because Ali had the heart that Cus said that a fighter needs to compete. And Cus respected that of Ali, even in a time when we're talking about the civil rights movement and everything, and Ali talking about I'm pretty, I'm the baddest in the world and everything, and you don't know how to white folks across America didn't like Ali, and they wanted to get him, and all of that. And Cus respected him. Cus really respected him. And
now, Customato was Italian too, right?
I take it that name sounds awfully Italian.
Yeah, was he? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
But also, Cus was able to speak to Ali when he was preparing to fight George Foreman, and he gave him tips on what to do and how to handle Foreman. You want to hear a little history lesson on that?
Yeah, that's why I like talking to you. I learn something new every day.
Customato told Ali that he's too fast. Foreman, who's a slugger and drags his back behind him like the woman. So Ali was told by Cus, he said, listen, you're twice as fast as the guy. You could hit him with lead right hands and knock him out. Now, when they fought, if you watch the first round of the fight, Ali threw about 10 or 11 lead right hands. And for a fighter that's an orthodox fighter fighting another orthodox fighter, for you to throw lead right hands on them and hit them square on the jaw, that's like an insult, because the jab is supposed to open everything up, right?
Yeah, everybody get that close.
Everybody knew that Ali had a nice jab and had mobility and everything, but for him to be hitting Foreman, opening up the fight with right hands, that means not only had he seen something about Foreman's fighting style where he carried his left awfully low, that over a period of time and enough of those type of right hands, and since Ali punched with accuracy and precision, that he would have a great opportunity to stop Foreman. And guess what the punch was that put Foreman on the canvas?
Well, he hit him with a, put him on the camera, he hit him with a rise of punches, right? A 1-2?
The last punch that landed was a right hand to the chin, brother.
Right hand. Okay, yeah.
But that one came off of a series of combinations. But the last one was a finishing touch right on the chin. And Ali, when he hit him and Foreman stumbled, Ali stepped back, ready to hit him one more time. But Foreman fell in a circle, like when an airplane is going down and it goes in a circle. That's how, like a helicopter or whatever, that's how Foreman went to the canvas. And Ali could have easily did like Foreman and hit him in the back of the head or something with a final punch, but he didn't. He watched him go to the canvas. Go back and watch the fight. It's one of the most beautiful knockouts that you ever see. Ali's knockouts, when he KO'd people, they were beautiful. They were like artistic pieces of movement in a moment. His knockout of Cleveland Williams was beautiful.
Yeah, that was a beautiful fight.
Beautiful. His knockout.
I know you guys said that was the most beautiful last fight of Ali before he went away. And I looked at that fight and you guys had that on the Three Kings. And it was a masterpiece. Footwork. He was in tip-top condition. I think that was the best condition he was in his professional career. And he was you couldn't touch that Ali. That Ali was untouchable.
Yep.
That Ali, if you tell your guy Shitty Cuz, that Ali beats Tyson Fury. Shitty Cuz, all right? That's what Ugas, the Ukrainian, had to do with him. He's about Ali's size.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I don't think there's a heavyweight in this present era that had the heart that Ali had. The only one that I would say that probably had the closest on display as a fighter was probably Holyfield. Now imagine having that type of heart, the scientific mindset that you could see or visualize anything that you wanted to do, and then having the athleticism to pull it off. That it all rolled into one as a single entity. That's what Ali was. That's why you see people who will imitate his movements, and they will channel his speech and trying to be, brash with their bravado and talking, but you've never seen anyone emulate his character.
Take on everybody, yeah. There's something about those Alabama boys. They seem to take on anybody, like you said, Holyfield,
What do you mean
Wilder.
Alabama?
They don't care. That's where Holyfield from, right? Alabama.
Holyfield.
I thought Holyfield was from Alabama.
I thought he was. Well, he might be. He's.
I thought Holyfield. I could be wrong. I don't know. I just thought he was from Alabama.
But Ali is from Kentucky. That's who I thought you were talking about.
Yeah. Now, when Ali had a funeral, I know somebody, part of the nation that was there, attended there. He said the world, not this one country, the world, especially over there in the east part, a lot of the Muslim countries, sent all of these delegates there to his funeral. He said it was the most beautiful thing he ever seen. It was huge. And the media didn't even talk about it.
Well,
all these delegates from different countries.
The thing is, man, he carved out a space in this society from a vantage point. If you look at all of the injustices that the melanated man faced during his lifetime, and the barriers that he was able to cross and doors that he was able to knock down, that speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't need the media. He was the media.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the best showman. And I looked at the first black heavyweight champion in his documentary, and he talked Ali in a part of it. It was Ali. He never heard of him before, Jack Johnson, and he went to go see a play with James Earl Jones in it, and he said, "This guy reminds me of me, other than the white women."
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he was actually more crazier than me, because at that time they were hanging people on trees out in the open. He didn't care.
Yeah.
So
Jack Johnson was
probably
something
the second
else
Brett.
too. Jack Johnson was
he
something
was
else too. There was a story about him one time being caught speeding. He came in town and he was speeding. The cop pulled him over, and he had a white woman with him, and they told him, you get out of here. Don't let us catch you. And he had to pay a fine. And so
they gave him a hefty fine of $50 or something.
Yeah, they gave him a hefty fine, and he doubled the fine. And they was like,
yeah, they said, "Boy, I ain't got no change for no $100 bill."
He said,
"I'm coming back
through."
Those old dudes were something else back then.
See, these are
they named the bomb after him too. They named the bomb, and of course the monkey wrench. They were being, sarcastic.
Of course, listen. This is the type of thing when you talk about your history and you share these stories and you share the whole sense of pride and dignity and everything. That's what's supposed to be passed on, brother. Not this foolishness that, these guys, I'm never going to fight Devin Haney and all of it. Get out of my sport.
This got to be the worst era of boxing I have ever seen. This Shitty Cuz and Tank Davis and Ryan, all of them. The only one got hurt is Devin and, maybe a few others, but that cast of characters, man, they need to just go and get them over with, man. Get out of boxing, man. You don't want to box, nobody's making you. Move on.
I agree.
Yeah. And they happen to be brothers too. I hate talking about brothers like that, but god damn, man, they're the biggest sissies. You know, and I didn't ever really look at it. You know, somebody made reference to, you know, they raised by their moms. That's why I'm looking. There may be something to that. I never even looked at it that way. Yeah, a lot of them raised by their mothers.
Listen, hold on. I won't say this about just because they raised by their moms, but it's the type of household that they come from.
Yeah, dysfunctional.
Listen, Evander Holyfield and his brothers and sisters were raised by his mom.
Yeah.
He didn't behave like these guys.
No, he wasn't, but that's Alabama. Something about Alabama.
Holyfield is like 64 years old now, if I'm not mistaken, 65. And he's still talking about his mama to this day.
Yeah, he do.
That's
the only time he
like my mama said. My mama always told me. My mama would say this. My mama this. My mama that. You understand?
Yeah. That's the only time I hear him kind of, you know, he the person that he'll listen to that got control of him. And he wasn't a wild guy either. He wasn't wild. What I mean, but like Tyson, it's all over the place. But yeah,
well, see, the thing about Tyson is this, brother, which is why I get on his case as an older man of how he behaves, because Tyson, as a young man, a young boy, was kind of, like you said, all over the place and everything, and due to his domestic circumstances and whatnot. But Cuss brought him in. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Cuss brought him in and put him in to a more stable environment than he had known and everything. And he still had a taste for the streets and all of that. But when you get to a point where you can make a choice in life and say, you know what? I'm going to roll like this. I'm going to roll like that. Well, Mike had opportunities to decide to go a different route. And he went the route that he went. So he's a man of his own convictions, and he should be held to that, which is what I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not enamored with the successes and everything. I'd rather him had lost a bulk of his fights and be a different type of individual than to have the successes that he had and then go along with the ways and things that he's chosen to do. That's just like he knows boxing history and everything, but when you hear him talk about fighters of today and picking fights and stuff like this, he sounds like Max Kellerman and those guys. Why? Because his heart is in a different place. His mind is in a different place.
Yeah. He said his whole career he picked over Floyd Mayweather. He said I was wrong every goddamn time.
Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe are very close friends now after their trilogy and the ups and downs of their lives. But Evander took a time out to say something to Riddick Bowe, and it's out there on YouTube. They were in the Heights Gym in Texas, and he told Bowe, he said, Bowe is the kind of guy you can't take everywhere with you know, because he gonna embarrass you, or he gonna do something, he gonna make a fight start or something. He's that kind of guy. So there's some places Bowe can't go, you know. And it's funny because Bowe took offense to it. He was like, man, what you talking about and this and that. He was like, you can't, Bowe, you ignorant like that, you'll do this. And Holyfield was telling him the truth. He's his friend,
yeah.
But he's telling him the truth. But even at 50 plus, Bowe is like, man, you don't know what you're talking about, whatever. But it's like, dude, when are you gonna learn? And Bowe has had his share of outside the ring circumstances too.
Yeah, he just wasn't as big as Mike Tyson. Nobody really cared.
It's like, and then, you know, the way his career ended up going, that was because of him. He was
Real fast. He fell off.
He
real
was
fast.
too talented to have the things happen to him that happened. So it was about his character. And you hear me say it all the freaking time. The character of these guys.
Yeah.
That's what brings them down. Poor character. So you're looking at Shitty Cuz and Keyshane and Hitchens and all of them guys. They got poor character and they're only going to go so far. So far. Because there's a door that closes that you can't get beyond. And you know what that door is?
Reality.
Not only reality, but accountability.
Accountability. Yeah, they're gonna find you turn away $3 million, man. Come on, what are you gotta
Brother,
realize
it ain't
that you're
about the money.
brand.
It ain't about. See, B-Mac, this is what I gotta tell you. See, I'm glad you said that, because I'm gonna stop you. It ain't about the money. Because if it was about the money, he'd take the fight and go in there and fight. It's about the poor character, because he don't have what it takes, but he thinks the money should be gifted to him. That's a freaking thief. Do you understand?
Okay.
What has he done to earn $3 million? Devin went overseas to Australia to fight for the undisputed title for $2 million. They wanted this man to give his title up. Something that he earned. You've gone to college. You've gotten your degree. You're supposed to take your certificates and everything and burn them just because somebody said they don't think that you anything because you got a degree? You're supposed to just flush it down the toilet? And they ain't even trying to get no damn degree. They just running around, talking shit. See, I tell you, when you listen to these people out here, these platforms, the ring guys, I open my show talking about them, the Kellermans and them guys, all them. You listen to them folks talking, and they hypnotize you into thinking that this is what it's about and everything. It's not. Because even a man who is trying to change the standard or quality of his own life understands that if he gets the opportunity to bring his family up, he's gonna put his life on the line to do so. He wanted to get the money because he thinks somebody should pay him for something he ain't even earned or whatever. Remember, the fool said that I woke up and I was the #1 contender. That means somebody pulled strings for him. He in a division he ain't never even fought in before. And guess what? His mama ain't said nothing to him. Boy, get your head together and get out there and earn some money and this and that or whatever. No, what do they call themselves? The DB3s, him and his brothers and all of that. They look like a bunch of fools out there, bro. He ain't did nothing. And now it's to nothing that he returns. And the worst part of it all is that the forgiving folks of the community will be patting him on the back, braiding his hair for him, and telling him, don't worry, bro, you still gonna do this, you still, look at AB. He was him before him.
Yeah.
Now you got
He's
people
been rolling.
online talking about AB. Oh, it's a shame. It ain't no shame. Where were you when you should have been saying something to the guy? Like I be saying things and they don't like me. Oh, the sensei think he this. Oh, the sensei that. Oh, Stormybman, blah, 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 blah. But remember, I was mentor and coach to others. So if I'm mentoring and coaching you, I have to tell you the truth. I have to pull you up and push you out there to be better. And my motivation is to see your successes and everything. And it's like, oh, I know I'm on to something. I'm doing the right thing. Let me do more of it. Not to be condemning and to putting somebody down and telling someone this is not right and this and that or whatever. No. I started this show off talking about Kellerman and all them folks saying the stuff that they say. Oh, I'm going to play devil's advocate. You're not playing. You are an advocate of the devil.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say about that, bro. That's what I have to say. People can get mad and all of that, but man, tell me where I was wrong.
I guess I don't want to hold up your line. Somebody else.
All right, B-Mac, man. I appreciate hearing from you. It's been a minute, so.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll start calling in a little more. I've just been tied up.
Yeah.
With life.
I understand. Just know that you have to roll with the punches, brother. I've been taking some hits myself, you know what I mean? So, just stay prayerful and know that, you win some, you lose some. But the whole point of it is you stay in the game.
Yeah.
Till the final buzzer.
Yeah. All right, Tommy B.
All right, brother. You take it easy. Thanks for calling.
Peace.
Peace. All right. Yes, sir. Great stuff by B-Mac. Calling in. How long I've been doing this? Almost 2 hours. Yeah, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I don't think I was planning on being on here this long. Yeah. But we do what we do. Yep. Anyhow, it's been a good live. Been a good live. I appreciate everybody that came out today. figured I'd do a live this morning. That way I wouldn't have, or this early this afternoon instead of this evening. So, yep. So, y'all see that clip I put up there of Canelo getting smashed by Bevo? The god of Canelo, that's who I call him, Bevo. It's great stuff, man. I love that. But I'm going to get on out of here. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. Catch you guys on the next one. And hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out if you didn't on your way in. Peace.